Gentlemen, welcome. Nice to have you here. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Tell me a little bit about the band. Who wants to start first, David?
I will start first.
Yeah, tell me about, first of all, tell me about you, and then let's move on to your backing members here. Yeah.
Well, I started out actually studying film scoring in...
What?
Yeah. Studying film scoring at Berklee College of Music in Boston. And at the time, I had never really listened to Americana music or folk music or anything like that. But then I heard the music of John Prine.
Oh, yeah.
And I immediately was like, that's what I want to do.
You knew it right then.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. And I dropped out of college. And
I bet mom and dad were happy about that one.
Oh yeah. And then started writing a bunch of songs and
let's go back. What was it about John Prine that hooked you? I mean, because if you're studying scoring music, you're studying legitimate music here. And now, and not that it's not all legitimate, but there's a big difference there between scoring a film and John Prine.
Sure. I mean, actually, it makes sense to me. Maybe it might not make sense to everyone, but like John Prine's lyrics are very, very straightforward to the first time you'd listen to it. But there's so many layers that, like that line, like, I hate graveyards and old pawn shops because they always bring me tears. It's like, that tells tons of stories in just that one little line. And so, for me, it relates to film scoring because it is bringing you to another place in terms of a story, and it's super layered, which is
for sure
incredible.
So, how long have these guys been harassing you officially?
It's been this is the 8th year.
8th year.
Yeah,
8th year.
With the four of you.
Basically, maybe Lyndon came in 8 months to a year after we began.
Okay.
The rookie, right?
Yeah.
The
The rookie over
Are
here.
you ever gonna outlive or outgrow that rookie label?
I'm still new,
He's still carrying all the
Still
gear.
kind of
so.
trying to fit in, like
He's trying to fit
There
in.
you go. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
it's brand new.
So, how did you guys meet, and how did you come together? Oh, big sigh. Come on, Dave.
That was for effect. Oh, you were going to say something, though.
Go for it.
I get to talk. All right.
You get to.
I was, this was 8 years ago. I was a guitar player playing in different bands around the North Bay area. Got into a little accident, a bike riding accident, where I destroyed my left wrist and hand and had surgery on it and bionic arm. Looking to recover.
BMX, to be clear.
BMX. I was
Not like...
Oh, okay.
not a motorbike, a BMX bike.
Okay.
So I damaged my left wrist. Not good for a guitar player, as
Not
you can
good.
imagine. I wanted to recover and fully rehabilitate myself as quickly as possible. And so I obviously didn't play for a few months, and I wanted to get out there and start playing as much. And I did something I never did before or after, which I looked on Craigslist to see what's going on. Who can I just go play with immediately? Because the bands I was with had taken a hiatus or whatever, so I wasn't playing with them as much. And then this guy here had little songs and video posted, and I checked it out. I was like, there's something to it, something good. I can really dig into this. Met him a day or two later, rehearsed, and I think we played our first gig like a week later.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then it's been every week since.
So I want to go back. Wait a minute. You said something about Craigslist. Did you have an ad on Craigslist?
Yeah.
You did?
I did, yeah. I mean, I had been back for a little while in California, and I didn't know that many musicians out in California, and so I think it was at the time I was playing with John and Zach Garn, and I didn't have a guitar player, and I was like, I need a guitar player, and so I was like, screw it, all right, yeah, I'll put an ad out on Craigslist and see if anything bites, and sure enough, and then Dave contacted me,
I
and
think I was the only bite.
yeah,
the
you
only
were
bite?
you were the only bite, and I checked out his website, and I was like, oh my God, this guy can play. So, yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, but did you tell him that you had just destroyed your arm?
I'm sure I did. I needed
yeah.
an excuse as to why I couldn't have the stamina that I used to have
Oh.
because it kind of hurt at first. So while I was recovering, I couldn't play guitar for months, but I used that time to kind of learn to play the mandolin because it was a small enough little instrument that I could kind of wrap my hand around.
Yeah.
And I also kind of learned to play the dobro and lap steel because I couldn't play the guitar yet. So I wanted to get those instruments out too. And listening to some of his songs, I was like, let me try this instrument on this song. And sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't, but it stuck on some songs. It worked out good.
Very cool.
So now I get to travel around with not only guitars, but all kinds of other gear to carry too.
Great. Now, of course, you need a rhythm section.
Yeah, I did. My John, the first bass player that I played with, he was like a real rambler. Like he grew up on trains. Like he was always traveling around the country. And at one point he's like, I gotta go. And I was like, really? Okay. And then he left. And I called him up like a month later, and I was like, what's going on? Like, how's it going? He's like, I'm in Maine. I'm just doing something out here, making it whatever. And then I called him up like a month after that or something. He's like, I'm in Vermont. Like, I'm working on this other project now.
He's a hobo.
He's a real traveler. And then Zach Garn. The story about Zach Garn is funny because I called Lyndon, and I was like, Lyndon, I know you're really, really busy right now, but do you know any drummers that can play? He's like, well, I am really busy right now, but this guy Zach Garn is really great, and he can play.
He is really great.
And he is really great.
He's amazing.
He's an amazing drummer.
He had to go to school or something.
He had to
right?
go to
After he was playing with you for like a year, and then
and then he had to go to college, And,
Education.
a couple of my project had stopped.
Yeah.
And I was still in a heavy instrumental band at the time, and David was like, "Yeah, I want a heavy metal drummer in my band." And I was like, "Let's do it."
Yeah, well, and it was because it was like we had that one gig coming up also, and I was like, Lyndon, like, can you play with us on this one gig, and then ended up being really, really, really fun.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
So you're a metal drummer originally?
Yeah. That was actually that first show. I did actually bring my double bass pedal.
Yeah,
That show, I remember.
that's right.
That's great.
Just like, some of the big blues endings,
Yeah.
some double kick in there.
I love it.
So fun. That was the only time. Yeah.
So you went from an 18-piece kit down to a 4, right?
Well, at the time I was actually playing, I did start out drumming with way too many drums, just because I was really excited, and I was like, I want lots of drums, because it's fun, but once you start playing gigs, you're like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to carry them all around and set them all up. And 4 pieces is really all you need. So, and I think at that time I had already switched to a 4-piece. Can't remember precisely, but you can play any kind of music on a drum set like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I noticed that's kind of the trend now.
Yeah.
I think over the last several years that it has. It's gone, people have gone away from, unless of course you're in Def Leppard or something, everybody's kind of gone to the more pared down
Right.
kit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think limitations can help you be more creative in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you've had lots of experience with that now.
I have.
Because we've played a lot of events or house concerts and stuff like that where Lyndon's limited to like a snare drum, and
Or maybe just a piece of cardboard.
cardboard.
Yeah.
Cardboard.
Well,
and
when I was a kid, I used Tupperware.
Yeah.
Tupperware.
Because they fit inside each other. So then you've got the small ones, and then that's why I'd all the way around.
Yeah.
My mom hated that.
A wooden spoon. Or something.
Wooden spoons.
I-
That's exactly right.
That's great.
I actually made a drum set out of a plank of wood, and I screwed like bottles and cans to it and stuff, and drummed on those.
That's original.
cool.
Like that.
Yeah.
You should incorporate something like that into your set.
Yeah. Where is that thing?
I don't know actually. It might. It's probably not around anymore. That was like 20
So what you
years
do
ago.
is you take the beer bottles that have different sounds, after you're done with them,
Right.
save them.
Yeah.
Instead of recycling them,
Yeah.
and just put them into your kit.
Yeah.
Now, if he does
can
that,
make
don't
it.
blame me. Because he's the one who did it, not
Yeah.
me. So now we need a bass player.
We do.
right?
Yeah. Well, like I said, John left, and then played with Zach Sumner, who then got very, very busy.
So that was two Davids and two Zachs.
Two Davids and two
One
Zachs.
or two
Yeah.
gigs, I think.
And then and I had known Ben for a while, and because he was in a awesome band, Old Jawbone, and I remember seeing you play bass and harmonica, and I was like, oh my god, I would love to play music with that guy. And then how did that end up happening?
I remember that you came up to me after one of my shows, and we were like, "Hey, how's it going?" Doing the pleasantries, and then David kind of drops his hint like, "Doing pretty good, just kind of, lost my bass player though."
Bummer.
I'm like, "Oh,
I have an idea.
yeah." I was like, "Oh, really? That's it's too bad." He's like, "Yeah."
He's waiting for you to reply.
He paused for effect. He was like, "You play bass?" And I was like, I was kind of like waiting. It was like we were both just like on this kind of like, are we gonna go on a date or something like that? He's like,
Is he going to ask me?
yeah, is he gonna ask me? I was kind of like not wanting to assume that, maybe you're just telling me that you need a bass player and that I play bass. That doesn't mean you want me to play bass per se. But yeah, then
So who made the first move?
he asked, and then I said yes. So,
Good.
yeah.
He said yes.
Nice job, man. Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
That cracks me up, man.
And then the rest is history.
So what was the first song you guys wrote together?
Well, the first time that we played together, I wrote all the.
Okay.
I would come to them with the song, and then we'd work on arrangements and stuff.
Okay.
I can't think of the first song that
Well, I
we
wanna
played
say-
together though.
I think the first
Vagabond was
song-
like.
Oh yeah, Vagabond.
Early
Vagabond was
days.
the
I
first
think the
song.
first song you wrote after I joined was Bed of Roses.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think we actually started like
Just jamming on something.
jamming on the chords, and you
Yeah.
were doing your thing where you sing like fake lyrics.
Mumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I write songs. Is actually just like playing guitar and.
Zima Zaba.
Yeah.
Well, he says real words, but they just don't make a lot of
Do they,
sense.
or they just sound phonetically like English or something? They sound very convincingly
I'm not sure.
like.
Well, that's
It's a-
the way
it's a
kids
mix.
talk nowadays anyway, right?
that
Kids
right?
talk that way today.
I don't know what the kids are doing these days.
I try not to know, but
These
you hang around them long enough. I've
These
got
kids.
a 14-year-old daughter, so I hear a lot of that stuff. What? Yeah. So anyway.
All right, how's it going? With David Lanning Band, and this first song, well, it's about going to jail. All right. Dearest love, don't worry. They got nothing on me. And I'll be out in a day or two. Oh, and darling, I love you. Oh, yes. I'll make my great escape. Don't you worry, dear. I'll find a way to break on out of here. Oh, you'll see. We're gonna live like royalty. Dearest love, wait for me. I'll get out, please believe me. Did you bury the money like I asked you to? Oh, my darling, I miss you. Oh, yes. I'll make my great escape. Don't you worry, dear. I'll find a way to break on out of here. Be together, you and me. We'll go to Mexico, you'll see, and darling, oh, darling, we're gonna live like royalty. Oh, my love, please hold on. Yes, I've seen your face, darling, but I promise you that I will get out of this place. And I'll make my great escape. Don't you worry, dear. I'll find a way to break on out of here. We'll be together, you and me. We'll go to Mexico, you'll see, and darling, I'll make my great escape. Don't you worry, dear. I'll find a way to break on out of here. Be together, you and me. We'll go to Mexico, you'll see, and darling, oh darling, we're gonna live like royalty. We're gonna live like royalty. Yeah. All right. Thank you very, very much.
One of the songs that I love the video, and I told David this already. Whiskey Bottle. Yes. Whiskey Bottle. So that was all you guys, right? On Whiskey Bottle or no?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all in the
They're all
recording, for sure.
performing in that. Okay. So for me, watching the video, it cracked me up. I love that video. It's something about it. There's a sense of humor that comes through in a lot of what you guys do. Jam in the Van and, Whiskey Bottle. Is that all you, or are all you guys kind of simpatico there, or where does that sense of humor come from?
I mean, we get along very, 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 very well. I mean, I'm a I don't know. Sometimes I would say a goofy person.
No.
No.
No one would agree with that, or yes, they would agree with that. Which? I mean, do you guys agree with that statement? Is he a goofy person?
Can be. Sure.
Can be, okay. Obviously, you've had some girl trouble over the years. Is that right?
To be honest, that video, I mean, that song is fiction.
It's fictional, okay.
Yeah, I mean, actually, this was funny though, because a friend of mine was like thinking about like the music video for it, and he's like definitely, you got to make it like you're walking down the street and it's you're just really sad. You're just really. And I was like, I don't think I want to make that music video though, not for this song.
No, I like the way you went.
Well, this music video was extremely fun to do because it was done in like 3 days, and it was just so goofy and so fun, and like everyone involved was incredibly fun.
Tell me about some of the stuff that you guys have worked on lately.
Well, we're gonna be touring a bunch this year.
Well, let's talk about that. Where are you going?
Doing some opening slots for Jay Leno, and which is awesome. And he really loves to have musical acts open for him because he used to open for musical acts, and so he's like, he just really likes to like
Flip the tables.
yeah, flip it around and have musical acts open for him, and then we'll be opening up for Tedeschi Trucks.
Wow,
Band.
that's heavy duty.
Yeah, we've played a few shows with them, and it was just, oh my God, it was so fun.
good.
It was
Was it?
so fun.
They're so good.
They're so good.
It's great.
They're so good and
Yeah.
so like humble and nice.
Super
and
nice,
Just like
yeah.
chill.
Yeah, so you probably really dig watching the drummer because he just goes.
They have
doesn't he?
2 drummers.
Two
They
drummers.
have 2 drummers, and
They
they're
do?
both
How did I miss that? I don't.
incredible. Well,
Okay.
maybe maybe they don't always have 2 drummers.
Okay.
But
Well, whatever. I mean,
when we played with them, they had 2 drummers, and
That's great.
It was really cool. They have these really cool old drum sets called the company's called Sake. I don't know, probably not pronouncing that
I know
right.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, and they're really awesome sounding,
Yeah.
and they're incredibly good.
These bands that have been around a long time, like Tedeschi Trucks, you can learn from these guys, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, who else have you been impressed by
A lot.
when you've gone out?
Yeah. Jackie Green, toured with Jackie Green, and him and his band are incredible.
I just bought his latest record. I
Right on.
literally
Yeah,
got it
yeah.
on vinyl. Yeah.
It's good, huh?
Yeah, it is good.
And let's let's see, the Mother Hips, and opened for Elvin Bishop, opened for Leon Russell, and it's I mean, like the opening slots that we've had has been insanely
Or a lot of the
amazing.
festivals we get to play
Yeah.
will be supportive of some bigger bands.
Dave, when you go out, is there someone that you really like to watch play, a fellow guitar player that you like to really kind of pick up on, that you can bring to what you're doing?
There are many of them. We played a Earl Fest with Robert Crowell, and his guitar player, his name slips my mind right now, fantastic player. He's Australian, but lives in Nashville now. Just forgot his name. He was
Right.
great to watch and learn from.
Robert Crowell or Rodney Crowell?
Rodney Crowell.
Rodney Crowell.
Did I say what I said? Yeah, Rodney Crowell. Gosh, I like a lot of contemporary guitar players that kind of be the underdog side guy thing a little bit. A couple of the guys that have played with like Lucinda Williams or John Hyatt or Patty Griffin
Yeah.
tend to have low-key, really good guitar
Yeah,
players that
yeah.
know their spot in the band and can step forward when they need to, and I like that kind of playing.
There you go. What are you going to play today?
We're gonna play Royalty, Bed of Roses, Restless Wanderer, Brother in Chains, and Bet It All on Black.
What do you want to say about any of those songs in terms of inspiration for any of them, or is there any one of them that is a favorite?
No.
No. All right, David. I'm gonna go over here to this side. No.
I mean, the like Royalty, for instance. I've always kind of loved the story of Bonnie and Clyde, and the whole story of robbing banks and then going off to Mexico together, and in the story of Royalty, though, it ends up being and on the record and the recording, it is actually a duet, and it is between obviously the guy and the girl, and the guy gets caught and he goes to jail, but he keeps telling the his lover he's gonna be don't worry about it, I'll be out of here in no time, and then we'll go to Mexico and it's gonna be great. But as the story progresses, you find out that it's he's never getting out of jail, and so she's like, all right, well, see you later. I'm gonna get all the money and go to Mexico myself. This next song is called Bed of Roses, and it's a bit of a slow dance. Just outside of town, the kind of girl that everyone always wants to be around. And I was captured by the way that you moved. Then your smile took me over, and I fell for you. Bed of roses, a bed of roses, a bed of roses. Told you, but you were the only one for me. And now I see on your finger there's a diamond ring. But I caught you crying when you thought no one would see. And I've been witness to how he treats you while he hurts you, doesn't he? Bed of roses, bed of roses. Bed of roses line, a bed of roses, a bed of roses, a bed of roses line, yeah.
it's all over, it's the end of the day. I can't help but picture us laughing and you wanting me to stay. I'd always be there for you. You know there's nothing I wouldn't do. You and me, we'd be perfect. Life would be a bed of roses, a bed of roses. You deserve a bed of roses lying. A bed of roses, a bed of roses. You deserve a bed of roses lying. Yeah. Bed of roses, a bed of roses. You deserve a bed of roses to lie in. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
For a lot of these younger bands who are coming up, maybe haven't actually gone out on tour yet, maybe they've just kind of hit around some of the local clubs. What are some sort of lessons learned from the road that you could share with these guys?
I would lend that question to Ben Dubin. He tends to find lots of fun little adventures
Oh,
out there.
Ben, so bring it on. Bring it.
Apparently, I've learned lots of lessons of what not to do on the road.
You know,
Lesson number one
Insects.
is definitely bring as much gear as possible.
much gear.
That is the key. To
Is that what you do, Ben?
Yeah, you're gonna want to, electric bass and an upright bass, and a bunch of harmonica
Bunch of
stuff,
harmonica,
and a bunch of.
So besides the drums, you take up the majority of the cargo space.
We all kind of have a lot of stuff.
We all.
Yeah.
You do?
It's always a battle
Yeah.
when Lyndon's setting up his drums. I'm always like, yeah, set up a little more towards Dave, right? I try to get to him first. Sorry,
I do the
you
same
know I
thing.
do that.
Yeah,
you know
I do that too.
But we
I have no place.
Have Dave first.
Music is always evolving. It's always changing. And now with the internet, everybody seems to think that they can make music in their garage better than they used to. They're emailing tracks to friends across the way and all that. What would you say about today's music business?
I would say for the artist to create music and to have the access to the world to say like, here's my music, it's probably the best it's ever been.
It's empowering.
Oh
right?
yeah, I mean it's definitely, but it becomes difficult because now there's millions and millions and millions of more songs out there and stuff. So definitely, it's a lot more work actually on the artist, and in terms of like keeping up with the social media and also keeping up with the pace of everything is
Right. Is it a good time to be a musician?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say it definitely is. I think it's definitely obviously like a different thing than like being in the '70s, but there's a lot of artists that like would never have been able to do anything in the '70s that now, since they have access to the internet and they have access to the world, basically, they can be like, yeah, I'm gonna make a career.
Some bands like to go to Austin, some like to go to San Francisco or Detroit. Do you have like diehard fans in a particular area? I would think the Bay Area would be, because
Bay
that's,
Area is yeah. I mean, it's our hometown.
where do you want to go that you haven't gone to yet? Where do you want to go? Any of you guys?
I think we should go and play in Europe.
Yeah,
I think that'd be great.
that would be.
Where
that'd
would be your
incredible.
first stop?
Wherever they book us. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
It'd be fun
outside
to
of-
do some
outside.
UK and France and Germany and
Yeah.
Switzerland.
Asia would be
Italy.
fun too.
Yeah.
Japan or China,
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
that'd be awesome.
Indonesia.
What do you call the type of music that you guys play? I know bands hate to categorize it, but if you had to describe to
Sure.
Japan, let's say there's a booking agent in Japan, how would you tell them?
It's like it's a mix. So it's like Americana, folk rock, singer songwriter, bluegrass, blues, alt country.
With a little bit of heavy metal double pedal, double kicking going
A little
on.
bit of double kick.
Basically.
All right.
Now I'm kicking the band off stage. How you guys doing? All right. This is fun. Out on the street, alone in the world, he's just running in circles, running in circles. Oh my, I got a brother in chains. Mind in a box, lost in his pain, alone with his thoughts and searching for blame. Well, oh my, I got a brother in chains. Oh my, I got a brother in chains. And we could try to help you if you'd only let us in. Just someone to talk to, maybe get you some medicine. But you won't let us in, will you? Oh, brother, what am I supposed to do? Out on the street, alone in the world, he's just running in circles, running in circles. Oh my, I got a brother in chains. Oh my, I got a brother in chains.
I want to know from you guys, what is it like to play with this guy?
Awesome.
See, he's not going to burn any bridges right now. I know that. See, that's one of those throwaway questions because I know you're not going to say anything bad.
Right. It's terrible.
But
It's
you guys,
rough.
he's terrible.
No, it's really cool. I mean, I think like David said earlier, we get along really well. We have a lot of fun together, and it seems like there's a lot of creativity that happens, and it's awesome to be playing behind a good singer. Doesn't
Yeah,
get old.
sure.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
How do you guys write a song? So do you write the lyrics predominantly? You come in with the lyrics, and then
Yeah. I'll write the song and present it to them, and we'll kind of like assess out arrangements and
what do you bring to them?
usually
You
it's
say you
always-
present it to them.
multi-instruments
Do you have a silver platter with a speaker on it, and you go, here, I have my music for you,
that's
and you
usually-
delay it
that's
out,
usually
and
what I do.
I'm going to present you my
Generally,
music.
He'll-
How does it work?
It's over sushi always.
Oh, good. And sake.
And sake, definitely. Lots of sake. No, I don't know. I generally just like come to rehearsal and be like, all right, here we go.
He'll just
I'll
start
play.
playing it.
I'll play this song.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll get a demo of it beforehand, no charts or anything, and just kind of start to play it. And after a while, we've done this enough times, we kind of can read each other, listen to the song, and wait and see where it's maybe going to go, and start putting your part on. And a lot of times it falls into place really quickly, and you're like, yeah, first instinct is good. Other times it's like,
This is not working.
it's like this isn't where. Maybe I should try this. And you're usually quick to say, hey, why don't you try this on it? And then it's never the right thing to do. And then it works out really good. But
That's the great thing about the creative process, isn't it?
yeah, and
Little seedling, and then it just blossoms into this.
yeah, David's got a very critical ear and a good ear, and he's able to, like, I don't know how you do this. Being in a rehearsing, he'll be singing and playing the song, and hear everyone's part and critique everyone, not critique, but he'll like hear things that when I'm playing, I'm like trying to hold on to my seat of my pants so I don't make a mistake. I can't hear what he's doing. I can't focus on it. But he'll hear something, hey, leading into the second chorus, why don't we try this? And he'll have like an idea, a specific idea, and we'll work on that. 5 seconds of music for about 3 hours. And then it shows, we play a show, it makes it worth it.
Well, good. Speaking of shows, I think we have one to get to. Anything else that you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Just the fact that there's certain scorpions in Texas that are not dangerous. You don't need to be scared.
But there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. They might be under your bed. They might be filled like huge traps of them.
Right.
Carcasses.
Hundreds.
There might be a few live ones in the sink.
There's 1 to 100 maybe.
You know, you might be with the
Somewhere in that
drummer
range.
looking up like how deadly it is and like seeing how to catch them, but it's nothing to worry about.
I've heard if you have a black light, you can see many of them, the translucent ones.
Oh, nice. That's
That-
what we need to do is go
We're
around
gonna
to the
travel
places
with
we
I
stay
didn't
on
see,
the
I
Black
didn't
Line.
even
No,
know that.
well, you
I don't think we wanna
should.
do that in these hotels.
Well, you really
We're
should.
usually in like a Motel 6 or something like that.
You take some luminol, and you
Yeah.
and then hit the black light. Oh, Jesus, I got to get out of there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel,
We love Texas though, but that's not anything against. It's good. It was just not knowing about. In my mind, scorpions were like, oh, this is very deadly. You should run away. But
well, they're a great rock band too, by the
Yeah.
way.
oh yeah,
They really
never
are.
run away
They
from that.
really are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 They will rock you.
All right, like a hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly how.
Cool.
Oh, boy.
Well, dudes, it's time for you to rock the house. Thanks, guys.
I like that.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Sean.
Thank you, man.
Cool.
Thanks,
Thanks, Sean.
guys.
There was a time that I remember when I was so afraid to fall. But today I'm going all in. The time has ended for the crawl, yes. Throwing caution to the wind. And there ain't no turning back. Oh no, no, no. Bet it all on black. Ain't no time for second guessing. I know what I've got to do. All my money's on the table. Just let it ride in the smoky room, yeah. Let it to the wind. And there ain't no turning back. Oh no, no, no. Bet it all on black. Time and again, I have found out, my friend, there ain't no use in holding back. Time and again, I have found out, my friend, there ain't no use in holding back, holding back. Bet it all on black. Bet it all on comes to an end. It's time for me to leave this place. And I might be back here again. But I will never be the same. No. Throwing caution to the wind. And there ain't no turning back. Oh no, no, no. Bet it all on black. 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 All right. Thank you very much. It's a wrap! Hey! This has been amazing. Thank you guys for doing this and having us here. Thank you dude.